How a narcissist treats their new supply after you reject their Hoover. Everyone, today, let's explore a crucial topic. What happens when a narcissist tries to pull you back into their world, often called hoovering, and you refuse? And how does this affect their current partner, often referred to as their new supply? Let's break it down. In relationships with a narcissist, manipulation and emotional chaos are key dynamics, especially in how they treat their new supply. At first, the new supply is showered with constant attention, affection, and praise during a phase called love bombing. It feels magical and ideal, as if they've entered a perfect relationship. But this illusion doesn't last long. Narcissists crave excitement and struggle with boredom. This leads to what I call the boredom cycle. After the initial intensity of love bombing, their interest fades and they start seeking other ways to feel validated. This often includes reaching out to former partners, like you, in a calculated effort to draw you back in. When you reject these hoovering attempts, the narcissist's attention temporarily shifts back to their new supply. At first, the new supply may feel special as the narcissist seems invested in maintaining the appearance of a flawless relationship. But this effort is short-lived. Over time, usually within weeks or a few months, the narcissist becomes indifferent. This indifference marks the start of emotional withdrawal. The new supply begins to notice the neglect and might feel anxious or self-doubting, desperate to recapture the initial magic. Meanwhile, the narcissist, upset by your rejection, redirects their frustration toward the new supply, often showing criticism, coldness, or outright hostility. Interestingly, while the narcissist is with their new supply, they often remain fixated on you. Their hoovering attempts typically take one of two forms. Direct attempts. The narcissist might contact you openly via text, email, or a phone call, making their intentions clear. Your best response is either silence or a firm boundary, such as "do not contact me again." Blocking them entirely on all platforms can also be effective. Indirect attempts. Alternatively, they may try more subtle tactics, like using mutual acquaintances or social media posts to grab your attention without directly reaching out. Rejecting them, however empowering, usually triggers a strong reaction. Narcissists can't handle rejection well. It threatens their fragile sense of control. This leads to feelings of anger, shame, and self-loathing, which they often take out on their current partner. The new supply, now on the receiving end of this frustration, may face escalating criticism or emotional abuse. What started as a pedestal-like idealization crumbles as the narcissist begins to view them negatively, a phase known as devaluation. This shift is deeply damaging. When the narcissist feels rejected, their need for control intensifies, and they may try harder to pull you back. But if you continue to stand firm, their frustration builds. Eventually, this unresolved anger is displaced onto the new supply, leading to more emotional fallout in that relationship. This cycle of idealization, devaluation, and redirected frustration is predictable but toxic. Many who've dealt with narcissists recall sudden, inexplicable conflicts, arguments over trivial issues, stemming from the narcissist's inability to handle rejection or resolve problems constructively. At the root of this behavior is a lack of empathy. Narcissists cannot truly understand or care about the feelings of others. This makes them unable to recognize the harm they cause or reflect on their own role in the rejection. Instead, they lash out, whether by starting unnecessary arguments, being cold and dismissive, or outright disappearing. For the new supply, this creates a state of confusion, insecurity, and emotional exhaustion. And for the narcissist, it underscores a deeper truth: they're incapable of forming healthy, meaningful relationships. Their connections aren't built on respect or mutual understanding, but are simply tools to gain attention and maintain control. Using others to hoover, now let's discuss a subtler tactic narcissists use: hoovering by proxy. This happens when they recruit someone else, like a family member, mutual friend, or flying monkey, to reach out to you on their behalf. The The person contacting you might not even mention the narcissist outright, but their true purpose is to gather information about your life and report back. Imagine this. Out of the blue, someone reaches out. A relative you haven't spoken to in years, or a mutual friend who suddenly wants to check in. They might casually ask, "Have you heard from the narcissist? How are you holding up after everything?" On the surface, it seems friendly and innocent. But underneath, it's all about prying into your life to give the narcissist an update on your feelings, routines, or boundaries. Spotting this kind of hoovering can be tricky. The sudden interest from someone you're not close to might feel slightly off. You might even get a gut feeling that the conversation isn't genuine. Over time, their questions often shift toward topics related to the narcissist, subtly steering the dialogue to uncover your thoughts or actions. It's less about caring for you and more about serving the narcissist's agenda. If you decide not to engage, cutting off the conversation or refusing to share personal details, you send a clear message. The intermediary won't have any useful information to deliver back to the narcissist, leaving them to report something like, "I couldn't get through. They didn't mention you." This failure frustrates the narcissist deeply. They may start questioning their strategies and even their relationship with the new supply. Doubts like, "Did I choose the wrong person?" Or, "Why am I losing control?" creep into their mind. This lack of control is a serious blow to their fragile ego, forcing them to confront feelings of inadequacy they usually avoid. Rejecting these attempts to infiltrate your life sends a powerful message. You're no longer playing their game. Silence communicates that they no longer hold power over you, which is something narcissists can't easily tolerate. They thrive on control, attention, and admiration, so being ignored feels like a direct attack on their worth. The emotional fallout doesn't stop there. The narcissist often takes out their frustration on the new supply. After hearing the proxy's failure report, the narcissist is flooded with shame, anger, and self-doubt. This emotional turmoil spills over into their current relationship, often leading to increased tension, criticism, or even outright hostility directed at the new supply. On social media, you might notice the new supply looking uneasy or posting things that hint at stress. This shift often reflects the chaos the narcissist is unleashing in their private relationship. Feeling cornered and rejected, the narcissist lashes out, unable to process their emotions constructively. For the narcissist, using a proxy and failing is particularly humiliating. It highlights their dependence on others and exposes their vulnerability. This loss of control and failed manipulation cut deep, threatening the image of superiority they cling to. In response, they may become even more volatile, creating a more toxic environment for the new supply. To protect yourself from these manipulative tactics, it's essential to set clear boundaries. Cut ties with anyone who might act as a bridge for the narcissist, even if they appear neutral. If children are involved, stick to strictly necessary communication about co-parenting. By refusing to engage with proxies, you reclaim your power and reinforce your emotional independence. It's also important to recognize the subtle ways a narcissist might try to reestablish contact. Whether it's through sending you an old belonging, an unexpected gift, or a casual happy birthday message, their actions are rarely innocent. These gestures are calculated attempts to pull you back in, stir up feelings, or regain control. Understanding the narcissist's motives can help you stay firm. No matter how indirect their attempts may seem, the goal is always to reconnect, regain influence, and boost their ego. By staying vigilant and holding your boundaries, you send the strongest message possible. You are no longer part of their game. When a narcissist tries to hoover you, it often comes from a place of internal chaos. They may feel trapped in their own emotional mess, torn between their need for control and the sinking fear that they're losing their grip on you. This desperation drives them to devise carefully planned strategies, hoping to reignite the connection they believe they can't live without. These moves aren't impulsive. They're calculated and self-serving. with the narcissist spending considerable time imagining how they might benefit from drawing you back in. They're overly confident, convinced their attempts will work. But what happens when you don't respond? When you refuse to play along, the narcissist experiences a kind of emotional collapse they didn't expect. They convince themselves they know how to manipulate you, so your rejection feels like a harsh, unexpected blow. This refusal wounds their fragile ego, leaving them feeling humiliated and inadequate. Their mental unraveling deepens as the loss of control strikes at the heart of their inflated self-image. Even if they have other sources of validation, friends, family, or new partners, these substitutes rarely satisfy them in the way you did. Your rejection represents the loss of something irreplaceable to them, the specific form of validation you provided. It's not just about finding someone else to manipulate. It's about their inability to let go of the connection that fed their ego. This amplifies their insecurity and sense of failure. By shutting them out, you aren't just protecting yourself, you're disrupting their entire sense of control. Narcissists despise rejection because it reinforces their deepest fears about being unworthy. When you refuse to engage, you send a clear message: they no longer have power over you. It's worth noting that narcissists often try to hoover after leaving unresolved issues in the relationship. They may have ignored your efforts to fix things, dismissed your concerns, or refused to meet you halfway. You might recall moments where you tried to reason with them, only to be met with indifference. Their unwillingness to compromise left you frustrated and unheard. What they didn't anticipate was your growth, the strength you've developed to resist their manipulations and say no. If you've stood firm against their attempts to draw you back in, you should recognize this as a major step forward. Many people, especially those with empathetic or caring tendencies, find it difficult to resist a narcissist's charm. If you've broken free from that cycle, it's a sign of personal growth and healing. Narcissists are subtle in their manipulations, and their hoovers often come disguised as harmless gestures. They might send vague messages designed to make you second-guess your decisions or create a false sense of nostalgia to pull you back in. But each time you resist, you reclaim your power. Setting and maintaining boundaries isn't just self-preservation. It's proof of how far you've come. Every rejection chips away at the narcissist's fragile ego. When faced with rejection, they often turn to their enablers, friends, family, or others who support their false narrative. Outwardly, they might act as if nothing is wrong, but inside they're struggling. They'll likely engage in smear campaigns, painting you as the villain and spreading lies to maintain their image. While they continue to act superior in public, their private world is filled with turmoil. Being targeted by a narcissist is emotionally draining, but rejecting their hoover is an act of taking back control. It allows you to move forward, free from their influence. By standing your ground, you're proving to yourself that you can protect your emotional well-being. Recognizing their tactics and refusing to fall back into their trap shows strength, resilience, and self-awareness. Narcissists excel at manipulation. It's their hallmark. They carefully design their hoovers to subtly draw you back into their world. For those who share children with a narcissist, the children often become tools for reestablishing contact. A friend of mine experienced this firsthand when he began receiving gifts supposedly from his child, even though the child was too young to have chosen or purchased them. The gifts were clearly orchestrated by the narcissist as an attempt to rekindle emotional ties. Initially, my friend didn't recognize it as manipulation. Only later, after reflecting on the situation, did he realize that was a hoover. This realization was a turning point, helping him see how easily someone can be pulled back into the toxic cycle. Understanding these dynamics is a critical step in breaking free for good. During the early stages of healing, many people struggle to see these actions for what they are, not genuine attempts to reconnect, but calculated efforts to regain control. Narcissists rarely say what we long to hear, such as "I'm sorry," or "I want to make things right." Instead, their indirect behaviors, like liking your photos, viewing your profiles, or making subtle gestures, can leave you feeling confused and unsettled. I remember noticing a narcissist lurking on my profile once, their presence marked by an image of an eye. It was unsettling, like being watched from the shadows. These seemingly small actions are classic signs of hoovering. They suggest that the narcissist has been thinking about you for a while, strategizing ways to regain your attention. Consider this. By the time they reach out, how long have they been obsessing over you? Their persistence reveals a deep need for validation and control. When you shut the door on these advances and refuse to engage, it can be a devastating blow for the narcissist. Rejection challenges their fragile sense of self-worth, delivering a powerful message that they are no longer welcome in your life. For you, this is a liberating and necessary step in the healing process. While they may seek validation elsewhere, they'll likely realize that no one compares to the unique qualities you bring as an empath. Your kindness, integrity, and compassion are rare and irreplaceable. Narcissists often struggle to find someone who embodies the same light and authenticity you offer. A recent question asked, "What sets us apart from others?" The answer lies in our nature. We're not narcissists or toxic individuals. We're empathetic, uplifting, and genuine. These qualities connect us to a community of kind-hearted, principled individuals. Our authenticity and integrity define us, making us resilient and capable of healing from the damage narcissists try to inflict. If you've successfully ignored a narcissist's Hoover, you've likely triggered a mental collapse for them. They are now left to confront the consequences of their behavior, a necessary part of their karmic journey. Thank you for being here today and for continuing to prioritize your growth. Your ability to resist manipulation is a testament to your strength. If this message resonates with you, please like, comment, and share your experiences. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe for more content designed to support your healing journey. Until next time, take care of yourself.